Hey all, the Diplomat here, coming to you from the USA, bringing you part 9 of the Chris Watts Discovery read-through, and we left off on Discovery page 105 with Officer Ian Albert. We had just passed through the call-in at the house, which turned out to be Chris Watts' legal team, which was approved. So, let's go. On August 14th, 2018, I was assigned as the Public Information Officer during the course of this investigation. During that period, I answered numerous phone calls from the media, issued press releases, and conducted 2 separate conferences to disseminate information to the media upon approval of my commanding officers. Additionally, I answered several tips and comments pertaining to this case from the public and maintained an active log of those calls. They are as follows. The following are on August 15th. Possible sighting of victim and children at a Sprouts Market off of Smoky Hill Road. Lead passed on to 986. Female party from Massachusetts called who claimed to be a psychic and foresaw their location being a wooded area near water. Sandra, mom of Shanann, called to advise that Shanann and Chris had court coming up on the 24th in WC regarding a family matter. Also on August 15th. Contacted by GPD regarding suspected vehicle, called into their office in Greeley, vehicle registered to family in Denver, not associated. August 15th, friend of family, Sarah, called to inform that gender party of Shanann and Chris was canceled recently. August 15, Dolores called, advised possible sighting of victim at 24-hour fitness gym down off of Arapahoe. August 15th, Emily called, advising that she was receiving strange emails from unknown person claiming to be reporter. Emily lives in Gunnison and advised she has no relation to the case and did not understand why this was occurring. Thank you, Emily. Debbie from Minnesota also received strange emails stating that someone from People magazine want info on case. Debbie has no affiliation of the matter. No callback requested. Interesting. So some of these folks are maybe contacting the wrong people, thinking they're involved or have some sort of relation. August 15, possible sighting of victim at restaurant in Cook City, Montana. RP remained anonymous. August 15, Cindy, friend of Shanann, said to check the trash cans for Thrive wrappers at house. If there are none, then that would indicate that Shanann had not been at the house because Shanann used it every day religiously. Brilliant, Cindy. Brilliant. August 16th. Virginia called to report suspicious white truck seen near Highway 52 at WCR 3.5 at 0130 hours on Monday morning. No identifying information on vehicle, just white truck. August 16. Kyle of Jackson, Mississippi, called to inform a suspicious comment made in one of the comments section of CBS News Channel forum related to article reported about Shanann Watts' case. A copy of that log was added to the case file. Nothing further at this time. So I think this is a reminder for all of us when things are going on to take the time. If we see something suspicious, call it in. You know, some of these, as you can see, were completely unrelated, but people took the time, even our friend here, Emily. So I think that's what it is for me anyway, a reminder to not be afraid to call something in if it looks suspicious, especially if we know something is going on in the area. You never know what tip may help. So the next are handwritten notes from Sergeant Albert. So info from Sarah regarding the gender party cancellation. Something here is redacted, as you can tell. Oh, it's probably her phone number. Hello. You would think I would know this by now. Kyle, this is the 12 hours after posted after Miss Watts was stabbed. I think this was the CBS post. Contact Greeley PO regarding suspected vehicle that registered back in October. Back to Denver. That was a maroon Pontiac Grand Am. Debbie, Minnesota, received the email from People magazine, wanted more info. No callback requested. Virginia, Monday, 1:30 a.m., Highway 52, that was the possible sighting. Cook City, Montana, lunch at Prospector Restaurant, 8:14, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Email, Emily, Gamas, I forget what it was, Gamaton, and then a little arrow. 24-hour fitness, June 27th, Dolores. So you see even there, actually, I didn't even see. Let me go back up. I want to just see if we see the one from Cindy. I don't think so. So, the note he had up there from Cindy about the Thrive patches, you obviously don't see that in the handwritten note. So it's not always for one, as I've been saying. So this is investigation activity report. Completed by Sergeant Albert. Following is August 15. This is everything we had already read, but we'll read it again. Possible sighting of victim and children at Sparrows Market off Smoky Hill. Lead pass, lead female party from MA, called who claimed to be a psychic and foresaw the location be a wooded area. Actually, these are all the exact same as above, so we'll skip this. These were both typed up, so I think we're satisfied with that. Moving on to supplemental report from Officer Perez now on August 18th, 2:27. On August 17th, 2018, at approximately 20:41 hours, I was requested by Detective Baumover to transport items of evidence to the Longmont Police Department. Detective Baumover handed me 4 brown paper bags that were all sealed with red tape. Marked on the bags were the following: bag number 1, underwear number 1, bag number 2, shirt number 2, bag number 3, bra number 3, bag number 4, sheet number 7. All 4 bags contained Shanann Watt's name on a printed label. I arrived at the Longmont Police Department at approximately 21:02 hours. I was escorted to the Longmont Police Evidence Room by Officer Jocelyn. I cut the red tape that was sealing the sheet number 7 bag with my knife. Inside that bag was a white sheet with dirt all over, and red stains. Wrapped inside the sheet was a small pile of dirt. The dirt was placed in a separate brown paper bag and marked dirt from sheet number 7. The sheet was placed inside a dry room locker, draping over a rod that was inside the locker. The sheet was tagged as number 7 with the case number and locked inside the locker along with the bag of dirt. By the way, this is a video that is out there on YouTube as well. I've seen parts of it, in case you're wondering. I then cut the red tape that was sealing the bra number 3 bag with my knife. Inside that bag was a black bra that was covered in dirt. The bra was placed inside a different drying locker on a shelf. The bra was tagged as number 3 along with the case number. I cut the red tape that was sealing the shirt number 2 bag with my knife. Inside that bag was a shirt, white on top and purple on the bottom, with what appeared to have a heart logo in the middle of the shirt. The shirt was also covered in dirt. The shirt was placed inside the same drying locker as the bra on a hanger. The shirt was tagged as number 2 along with the case number. I love hearing that her shirt had a heart logo. It's like a little send off of her love, maybe. I cut the red tape that was sealing the underwear number 1 bag with my knife. Inside that bag was a blue pair of thong-style underwear that was mostly see-through. The underwear was also covered in dirt. The underwear was placed inside the same drying locker as the shirt and bra, on a shelf. The underwear was tagged as number 1 along with the case number. The drying locker contained the bra, shirt, and underwear was locked. The keys to both drying lockers were put inside a cabinet hole that only evidence personnel would have access to. Officer Placencia assisted me through the whole process of placing the items into the drying lockers. Officer Placencia completed a property and evidence report sheet containing Longmont's case number, 187619. A copy of the property and evidence report sheet will be added to the case file. Photographs were taken of the items inside the drying lockers and will be submitted into evidence. Video and audio was recorded from the time I arrived at the Longmont Police Department till I finished placing the items of evidence inside the drying lockers. Video will be added to the case file. Nothing further, Officer Perez. Okay, we go on to discovery page 110. Officer Dave Baumover, dated 8/18 at 14:20. Charges: murder in the first degree. Victim: Shanann Watts. Typical information on any victim listed. Bella and Celeste. And then Chris Watts again. So we've seen similar before. It says this supplemental report was generated for the purpose of booking and evidence collected from the Survey 319 oil tank site. Crime scene, nothing further. So that was the purpose of that. We get into CBI lab case number D18-3239, an evidence transfer form. Requesting agency Frederick PD. This is on 8/17. So item, description of item and location. So a black plastic bag, 2 black plastic bags, gray and white sheet, a rake head, rake handle, suspected hair from East tank. So that was transfer of evidence. Signature by Dave and Dave. And that's the transferred from and transferred to. Okay, another evidence transfer form, similar to the last one, which was a partial rake handle. So they must have needed to add that one. Same Dave to Dave. Next, we get into a supplemental report from Officer Albert, again on August 18th at 14:30. On August 14, 2018, at approximately 2100 hours, I was instructed by Detective Baumover to take a cell phone belonging to Christopher Watts and respond to the Dacono Police Department. The purpose was for Dacono officers to conduct a search of the data from that phone. I arrived on scene at their office and met with Officer Boyer of Dacono PD. Officer Boyer received the phone and downloaded the data. Shortly later, she made a copy of the data on a USB drive and provided that to me. I then returned to the Frederick Police Department and provided the USB and the phone back to Detective Baumover. Nothing further at this time. So that was at that was on August 14th. So he obviously had time to delete things from his phone and such, but I'm sure they got to a lot that he thought maybe they wouldn't be able to find. Next supplemental report, Officer Albert again, 1435 on August 18th, 1435. On August 18, 2018, at approximately 1100 hours, I contacted Christopher Rusk via phone. I received a tip that Russ had personally known both Shanann and Christopher Watts and may have information regarding the case. I spoke with Rusk, who identified himself as the service manager for the Longmont Ford dealership. Rusk informed me that Chris Watts had previously worked at the dealership and Rusk was friends with him. After Rusk had heard that Shanann and the children went missing, he reached out to Chris Watts via phone. Rusk stated that the only thing Chris Watts said to him was that I shouldn't have talked to the media. Nothing further at this time. I think we'll see that later, that conversation. But that's interesting, right? The only thing that's what he said to him was, I shouldn't have talked to the media. No, you shouldn't have done what you did. That's what you shouldn't have done. Okay, next supplemental report. Officer Albert, again, August 18th, 1720. On August 18, 2018, at approximately 15:30 hours, I was advised by Detective Baumover to respond to the McKee Medical Center in Loveland to retrieve an item of evidence regarding this case. I later arrived on scene and was handed a silver canister with the word Celeste written on it. I then returned to the Frederick Police Department and handed it to Detective Baumover. I'm not sure what that was, but it was from the medical center. If you know what that was, feel free to comment and tell us. Maybe something regarding her, the medical situations that they were in. Next supplemental report, Officer Dole, on August 19th at 9:15. On August 15th, 2018, at 1600 hours, Officer Dole was asked to pass out flyers on the missing people. While passing out the flyers, Officer Dole contacted 4 people that said they knew Shanann. Officer Dole took the contact information from the 4 people and gave it to Officer Manley. Video was taken. Going on to page 118, Officer Bakes, August 19th, 1651. On Wednesday, August 15th, 2018, I arrived at work at approximately 1600 hours. There were several different agency personnel at the police department at the time. I was briefed by Commander Egan of the situation and was assigned as the patrol sergeant, and also to coordinate patrol personnel where and when they were needed. At approximately 1830 hours, I was asked by Commander Egan to drive Chris Watts' Lexus vehicle to the back of the police department from the front on 5th Street and coordinate with Watts' father to retrieve his bag from the vehicle and then get him a ride to a hotel. Commander Egan also advised me I would need to seize the vehicle and have it towed by Brad's Towing. At approximately 2030 hours, I had Officer James transport Watts' father to a hotel in Del Camino after he retrieved his gym bag from the back storage area of Watts' Lexus. I then had Officer Goodman secure the vehicle with evidence tape and have it towed to Brad's Towing, where it was placed in a secure storage building. I was advised by Commander Egan that I would need to coordinate with Detective Baumover, who was in the process of obtaining a search warrant for the Watts residence. Commander Egan advised that I would supervise the scene while the search warrant was executed at the residence. Once the search warrant was signed by a judge and ready to execute, I responded to the residence at approximately 2212 hours and assisted the field evidence tech, Steve Walsh, at the residence. I assisted Officer Walsh with collecting all the bedding, including pillows, in both of the upstairs kids' room and in the master bedroom. I also contained the family dog in a kennel, which was running loose inside the house. I turned over custody of the dog to a family friend, Amanda, who arrived on scene to pick up the dog. At the request of Officer Walsh, I video recorded the screen on the baby monitor while Officer Walsh strangled a doll on each of the kids' beds in their rooms. The baby monitor was located on the right nightstand in the master bedroom. The baby monitor cameras were fixed on a wall in each of the kids' bedrooms that focused on the beds. I also looked through a backpack, which was located on the living room floor, which was determined to be Chris Watts' work bag. Inside the bag, I located a laptop computer which was seized as evidence. During the search of the residence, Brad's Towing arrived on scene to tow Chris Watts' work truck from the scene. I assigned Officer Manley with this task, and the vehicle was towed to Brad's Towing, where it was placed in a secure building. Once the search of the residence was completed, myself and Officer Walsh secured the residence and left the scene. We transported the evidence we collected to the Frederick Police Department, where it was secured in a locker room until Officer Walsh could finish processing it. On Friday, August 17, 2018, I was requested by Deputy District Attorney Patrick Roche to send him the video I took on my work phone of the baby monitor screen. I was able to successfully send him the video. Nothing further. So, a number of things there. One thing just to reiterate is, even though we all know that Chris did not have a whole lot of time, when you start to think about the house, the car, all the people that were in and out, the reporters, right? Obviously all the police officers, but more so folks that would normally not be allowed at a crime scene. His dad was in that Lexus as Chris picked him up. So because there was no, I guess because there was no scene of a crime at the house, there was nothing that pointed them to any disturbance in terms of an altercation, and that was not a crime scene, and they had no information as to where a crime committed. Think about all the people that went in and out, and all the things Chris did. So even in that little amount of time, he still had so much time to disturb the crime scenes. And I find that quite interesting because, it's really unfortunate that the police, kind of weren't able to secure what turned out to be a crime scene earlier. And, Chris obviously prevented that. Another interesting thing here was with regards to, all of the work on the baby monitor with reenacting the scene. That was, I believe, used or would have been potentially used in a trial, but it was pretty interesting that they recreated it. I think they did some timing as well to determine how long it would take, and possibly would have been used against Chris with some of the testimony he was giving about Shanann having done the deed, even though we know that's totally false, and him watching. So these cops are pretty on top of things. So we will end there for this part. We'll pick up on discovery page 119 and next time with supplemental report from Officer Meredith. So thank you once again, and I hope everyone has a great day.